Swadika, good morning and welcome to Newsline. I'm Cholapansa Narula. Thank you very much for joining us on this Monday's edition, February 2nd, 2015. The program is coming to you live on NBT, Radio Thailand, FM 88 and also NBT World. In today's segment of Thailand Moves Forward, our fourth story, 2 bombs exploded at a high-end luxury shopping mall in Bangkok last night. Let's have a look at the details. The homemade explosive devices were planted behind a power transformer at the entrance of Siam Paragon shopping mall in downtown Bangkok. Fortunately, there was only minor damage to the walkway and a small retail store with no casualties. Police initially said that the incident was a result of a transformer explosion. However, Police General Prawut Thawonsiri later told reporters that the explosions were the result of 2 pipe bombs. According to the spokesman of the National Council for Peace and Order, Colonel Winthai Suwari, the intention of the culprit was only to cause disturbances, not to take lives. At this point, he said it is still unknown whether the 2 incidents were politically motivated, while urging members of the public not to panic as security units will be on high alert to monitor the situation. Despite the incident taking place near the SkyTrain, BTS services will be operating as normal. The Ministry of Agriculture and Cooperatives will ask the Cabinet to approve 6 billion baht for the purchase of latex from farmers at the market price. The bought produce will be processed into rubber sheets and also block rubber. Deputy Minister of Agriculture and Cooperatives Amnoi Patise said the latex purchase would help increase the price of latex produced by small farmers who currently sold their produce at around 42 baht a kilo. The ministry would buy it from this month to next month for 30 days or before rubber farmers stop tapping rubber trees, said the Deputy Minister. 60,000 tons of latex are expected to be bought during the 30-day period. Meanwhile, leader of the Para Rubber Group in Surat Thani, Pairod Rökdi, said the government's solutions to the problem of rubber price drop concentrated on businesses and entrepreneurs of smoked rubber sheets. He urged the government to control prices of other rubber products and buying all the rubber products from each tambon twice a month. Mr. Pairod added that if the requests were ignored, the group's network would step up their protest by converging on the government house and requesting to meet the Prime Minister. Now on palm oil, a palm oil processing factory owner in Chumphon province has agreed with the government's palm oil imports measures aimed at solving the industrial sector's supply shortage. The head of the production of the Vichit Pan palm oil, Piradet Suwapha, revealed that the industry is facing a shortage as reflected from the drop of palm oil delivery. Factories previously receiving up to 20,000 tons had only received 5,000 tons. Severe droughts had caused the production drop, resulting in the supply shortage. The government assures that its policy to import 50,000 tons of palm oil from foreign countries is due to the emergency demand and the imports will not interfere with domestic stocks. The Industrial Palm Oil Group in Chumphon and Surat Thani has held a seminar enhancing business alliance to both the strategic and the operation plans of industrial production. The Bank for Agriculture and Agricultural Cooperatives, or BAAC, has injected 3 billion baht to help farmers who want to delay their cassava harvest through micro loans. BAAC manager Kun Lak Watana Nawat said farmers who planted cassava after the 2014-2015 crop year and wanted to delay their harvest were eligible to the loans provided by the bank. Each of them could borrow up to 50,000 baht with the government compensating the interest rate for them. That's by 3% for up to 6 months. The farmers can borrow from the bank, that is from today until March 31st. Around 150,000 households are expected to receive the loans. Around 30.9 million tons of cassava will likely enter the market this harvest season, slightly higher than the same period of last year. In a bid to prevent the price drop, the government has issued short, middle and long-term measures for cassava farmers through the BACC, and that includes the microcredit or microloans. The Ministry of Commerce has expressed satisfaction at the success of Made in Thailand in Focus event that was held from January 28th until February the 1st at Bitech. Deputy Commerce Minister Apiradi Tantraporn said this year more than 20,000 business people from countries such as Hong Kong, Taiwan, the United States, Saudi Arabia, China, Cambodia and Iran visited the National Trade Fair. The minister said the value of purchases at the event could add up to be as high as 300 million baht. The campaign was created by the ministry to attract importers from many regions to buy top-quality products from local entrepreneurs as the country needs to increase exports, as it is a key driver of Thailand's economic growth. In 2014, the nation's export value was more than $200 billion, with 1/4 of the value generated in trade with ASEAN nations. The ministry has set the expected growth of exports in 2015 at 4%. The high cost of living remains the most worrying problem among the general public, according to a recent survey by Ratchapat Suwan Dusit University. Let's have a look at this poll. Based on the survey, items which have become unusually expensive in the eyes of the respondents are ready-to-eat food, meat, cooking oil, vegetables and fruits, as well as electricity and lottery tickets. It is believed that sluggish economy, higher production costs, broke capitalists and middlemen, limited supplies and political problems are the cause of product price hikes. The public believes government intervention, the Commerce Ministry's discount campaigns, operators' price reductions, people's frugality, and the imposition of harsh penalties on opportunistic operators should help solve the problem. When asked who they can count on during hard times, the majority of respondents expected the government and the National Council for Peace and Order, led by General Prayut Chan-o-cha, the Prime Minister, to help them. Coming third and fourth are the Ministry of Commerce and business operators. The respondents believe consumers should also rely on themselves to solve the problems. The survey results were compiled from the answers of 1,264 people across Thailand during the period of January 26th to the 31st. The National Legislative Assembly is set to deliberate the Forest Plantation Act this week. NLA President Pornpet Wichit Cholachai said that the legislature has scheduled more sessions during February 5th till the 6th. On these days, the NLA will be discussing the setting up of a committee to verify and inspect the background of each candidate of the National Broadcasting and Telecommunications Committee. Another agenda is the deliberation of the Forest Plantation Act, which related committees has completed the draft and presented to the main NLA. According to Mr. Pornpet, other agendas include the review of the draft amendment to the law on the proceeding of civil cases and the discussion of the conflict between the Public Health Ministry and the National Health Security Office. The Constitution Drafting Committee, or CDC, has already reached its halfway mark for the drafting of the new charter. Chief Advisor to the CDC, Professor Prasopsuk Bundet, said that the drafting committee has completed around 50% of the new constitution after spending the whole month of January in reviewing each article. Mr. Prasopsuk, however, said a lot of work remains to be done and more time is needed to complete the drafting process. And one of the most anticipated issues is the election of the Prime Minister, the members of the public, the senators, and the appointment of the cabinet, he said. The CDC's chief advisor added that this issue will be most likely brought up for the main CDC meeting to discuss within this month. Mr. Prasopsuk is confident that the deliberation of the individual article of the draft charter will be wrapped up by the middle of April as planned, before everything is forwarded to the National Reform Council, the Cabinet, and the National Legislative Assembly to review and propose any adjustment. A recent seminar jointly organized by the National Reform Council has resolved to propose the setting up of a new council overseeing police affairs. The National Reform Council's Committee on Political Reform recently joined Thai Reform Institute in organizing a seminar on the reform of the police system, which was joined by academics, private organizations, various people networks, press members, and also students. Participants have agreed that a police reform is a difficult task, partly because of political interference and corruption within the current system. The seminar has pointed out that the solution to these problems should start with the overhaul of the administrative structure of the National Police Bureau and the Office of the Police Commission to decentralize the power. There was also a proposal for the establishment of a National Police Affairs Council that will be represented by the chiefs of state agencies related to national security, justice, human rights, and noted individuals selected by the House of Parliament and the Senate. A fire broke out on a locomotive of a Bangkok-Singapore tourist train on Sunday with no injuries reported. The locomotive of a 17-bogie tourist train caught fire yesterday after leaving Kanchanaburi station. The Eastern and Oriental Express train service is a luxury tourist train departing from Bangkok to Singapore with a stopover at Kanchanaburi for one night. The train driver, Pichit Samat Suntharanusorn, said the accident occurred after the train left the Kanchanaburi station after stopping at the station for about 5 minutes. Kanchanaburi Provincial Police Superintendent Police Colonel Pisut Sukrasorn assumed that the fire originated from fuel leakage from the locomotive, which was ignited by a spark from the friction of the wheel and also the rail. Another assumption for the fire is the oil conditions of the locomotive, which has been in use for over 30 years now. Thai Health Promotion Foundation has signed an agreement with 8 universities in the lower northeastern region of Thailand to jointly discourage binge drinking amongst university students. And they will pursue the goal through the university's network for a better understanding of alcohol, according to the foundation's director. The campaign has been launched in the wake of progressively higher rates of drinking among students. Drinking is believed to be a cause of violence, gambling, and drug use amongst youths. The campaign therefore aims to adjust the attitude of students towards drinking alcohol. Meanwhile, the universities will be informed that they are in charge of alcohol suppression. The director of the campaign said there was an urgent need for all sectors to join hands to discourage youth from alcohol and also drug abuse by increasing media literacy among the young people so that they have greater discernment towards media promoting alcohol. And of course, the harms of alcohol. And in our last story, before we end the Thailand Moves Forward segment, the Hoi Hong Krai Royal Development Study Center is a project initiated by His Majesty King Bhumibol Adulyadej. It serves as an agricultural, educational, and experimental center to broaden the knowledge of farming techniques among the inhabitants of the north of Thailand, and also an animated nature museum. To find out more about this story, let's now join Kun Suchani Rungmurnporn, who has more.
Hoi Hong Krai Royal Development Study Center is located on the border of Ba Mieng and Mepong sub-districts, Doi Saket districts of Chiang Mai, the capital of northern part of Thailand. The center has an area of 8,500 rai, or 3,360.63 acres. Besides functioning as a learning, research, and experimental center for agricultural production, it also serves as a center of career promotion to enhance the quality of life of the people in the north of Thailand. Its 3 main features are the forest at the front of the workstation, fishery component at the back, and agricultural production in the middle. So, the first one is forest. The forest in this area was degraded. People intruded in the forest for general use by the community. Deforestation happened extensively until there were only a few plant species left. Then, His Majesty King Bhumibol assigned an urgent reforestation program at the center. He took the decision to plant trees for public use and also to raise awareness among the people to recognize the importance of the forest.
จากหน่วยงานที่มาบูรณาการกันเนี่ยทำพัฒนา30 ปีในเรื่องการพัฒนาป่าเนี่ยโดยการปลูกป่า3 วิธีนะครับก็คือปลูกโดยใช้น้ำชลประทานปลูกโดยใช้เช็คแดมหรือว่าฝายต้นน้ำนะครับแล้วก็ปลูกโดยใช้น้ำป่นก็ปลูกป่า3 วิธีปลูกไม้3 อย่างก็ไม้ผลไม้เศรษฐกิจไม้เชื้อเพลิงนะครับหลังจากที่ประชาชนมีความเข้าใจท่านใช้คำว่าปลูกป่าในใจคนประชาชนมีความเข้าใจเรื่องความจำเป็นของการฟื้นฟูป่าต้นน้ำมีความเข้าใจเรื่องของเช็คแดมหรือว่าฝายต้นน้ำลำธารมีการสร้างอาหารหรือว่าฟู้ดแบงค์ในป่าซึ่งเป็นรอยต่อระหว่างป่า กับชุมชนนะครับ
Besides transmitting knowledge about reforestation, the center introduces ways to make a living for the people in neighboring areas, for example, mushroom growing or frog farming by using proven agriculture methods. Nirakpan Pradamrongkun is a villager at Jomtong District, Chiang Mai Province, and is also an attendee at mushroom growing project organized by the center, telling us that he feels well satisfied with the knowledge offered by the center, and also appreciates His Majesty King Bhumipon's concern for the citizens of the area.
ตอนนี้ที่หมู่บ้านนะครับกำลังจะมีแผนว่าจะหาพืชหรือว่าอะไรก็ตามที่จะทำมาเป็นอาชีพนะครับแล้วก็เห็ดก็เป็นตัวเลือกหนึ่งที่ชาวบ้านสนใจครับพระองค์ท่านเนี่ยเป็นอะไรที่ยิ่งใหญ่มากเพราะว่าอย่างคนบ้านนอกแรงจนเนี่ยก็จะมีอาชีพเสริมมีเศรษฐกิจที่พระองค์แนะนำให้ครับ
With the king's concerns about the people and his commitment to the project, the study center evolved into an animated research center. Visitors can experience enlivened biological integrity in this unique learning center of Thailand. Sushani Rungmanporn reporting.
Thanks to Kun Suchani for that interesting report. And that concludes Thailand Moves Forward segment. Before we take a short break, let's have a look at the exchange rates and also the commodity prices.
Thailand is promoting 12 core values for the good of the people. The second core value, being honest, sacrificing, showing restraint and determinations in doing good for the majority.
Even if we don't see them, they are amongst us. And they're hungry. Slay your power-sucking monsters. Take their power away. Think when you plug.
NBT World, a 24-hour English language television service operated by the National News Bureau of Thailand, or NNT, is designed to bring the most reliable information about Thailand to the international community. NBT World is available on various platforms, including via C-band set-top boxes, GMMZ Channel 202, PSI Channel 272, and a live stream on thainews.prd.go.th/newsing. You can also follow us on facebook.com/NNT News or download the PRD News EN application on your smartphones. NBT World, a vision of Thailand.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. British Secretary of State for Foreign and Commonwealth Affairs Philip Hammond said that he would discuss the UK's opposition to the death penalty with Indonesia on his upcoming visit. He said that the UK opposes to the use of the death penalty in all circumstances, saying that he believes that it might be more difficult to combat narcotics trade if these sentences are carried out in the way that is now being proposed. Two Australians, Mayuran Sukumaran and Andrew Chan, both members of the so-called Bali 9, were convicted of drug trafficking in Indonesia and sentenced to death in 2006. Both have had their clemency appeals rejected. British woman Lindsay Sandiford is also on death row and facing death by firing squad for smuggling cocaine into Bali in 2012. Indonesian President Joko Widodo, who took office in October, has pledged no clemency for drug offenders, drawing criticism from rights activists at home and also abroad. Indonesia executed 6 drug offenders on January 18th by firing squad, 5 of whom were foreigners, prompting Brazil and the Netherlands to recall their ambassadors. Al Jazeera journalist Peter Greste was released from a Cairo jail yesterday and left Egypt after 400 days in prison on charges that included aiding a terrorist group. And there was no official word on the fate of his 2 Al Jazeera colleagues, Canadian-Egyptian Mohamed Fahmy and Egyptian national Baha Mohamed, who were also jailed in the case that provoked an international outcry. The 3 were sentenced to 7 to 10 years on charges including spreading lies to help a terrorist organization, a reference to the outlawed Muslim Brotherhood. 1 month ago, however, a court ordered their retrial. A security official said Mr. Fahmy was expected to be released from Cairo's Tora prison within days. Egyptian authorities accuse Al Jazeera of being a mouthpiece of the Muslim Brotherhood, the Qatar-backed movement which President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi toppled in 2013 when he was Egypt's army chief. The conflict between Ukrainian government forces and independence-seeking insurgents seemed to continue as the latest peace talks aimed at terminating the bloodshed in eastern Ukraine ended in failure on Saturday in the Belarusian capital of Minsk. The representative of the Kiev government and the insurgents accused each other of sabotaging the meeting, which ended with no ceasefire deal or agreement on pulling back heavy weapons. As the representatives from Kiev and the insurgents met in Minsk, the insurgents were reinforcing their frontline positions and continuing their offensive. The fighting is particularly fierce around the town of Debaltseve, about 80 kilometers northeast of Donetsk. The insurgents said they have surrounded the government troops. The war has dragged on for months now, and more than 5,000 people have been killed. Venetians were cloaked, masked and robed in style for the first full day of the Venice Carnival yesterday as they rode their way along the canals followed by crowds of curious onlookers. Scores of boats representing different organizations and affiliations made their way to the fabled district of Cannaregio, cheered on by visitors on bridges and piers. The carnival, being a pre-Lent festival, means farewell to meat and is celebrated throughout Italy. It was first held in Venice in the 11th century and consisted of over 2 months of revelry until it fell into decline during the 18th century. It was revived back in 1979 with great success, and nowadays it is a great excuse to don a mask and costume, parade around the city, and enjoy the live music in the main squares of the city itself. The 2015 edition, which is running with the theme, The Most Delicious Feast in the World, will celebrate Italy's culinary traditions and triumphs, organizers said, ahead of the festivities. This year's carnival runs until February 17th. And that's it for today's edition of Newsline. If you do have any suggestions or comments, please write to us. The email address is newsline.nbt@gmail.com. You can also have a look at our website if you want to stay abreast of the news or, have a look at what's going on in Thailand. Our website is thainews.prd.go.th/newseng. Today we end the program taking you to Pitsanulok province to have a look at the hill tribe children there and how they make a living, especially during the weekend. I'm Chalapan Sanarula. Thank you very much for joining us today. Sawasdee ka.